Coach, I know you're not in pads yet, but what can you tell us about the first 3 practices for you?
A lot of good things out there. Again, we did put shoulder pads on today, and we're out there thudding and wrapping up, and a lot of guys flying around, and a lot of excitement. Generally, like you want to see at the start of camp, and the thing that jumps out to me is we just look like a smoother operation out there. I think even though we still got a lot of youth out there, I think the off-season rules, us being around our guys in the summertime, being able to meet with the young guys, I just think from top to bottom, we're more confident about the package, we're more confident about the guys around us, and it's just a smoother operation out there right now. So we got a long ways to go. Got to keep coming out and grinding. And again, this will be the tough week because from a physical standpoint, again, we'll start to get a little bit sore and tired and whatnot, but a lot of good things early on.
Was Mastro leading the way you hoped he would so far?
Doing a good job. Yeah, he's picked up where he was in the spring, and we've got other guys out there. They're not just letting one guy do it. You're seeing older guys like Donnie Bags and Justin Bass is doing a good job. A.J. Hilliard feels a lot better than where he was at in the springtime. Reggie Chavis is another guy. Again, Reggie I think is ready to take that next step. We met individually last week briefly, and I told him, I was like, right now you're still a package guy for us until you prove otherwise. He's come a long way, but again, like a lot of our guys, still has a ways to go.
What kind of improvement have you seen in terms of communication and guys being able to get lined up?
You mean the whole defense?
No, for linebackers.
Night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day. I think the biggest thing we lacked last year, were guys that have been there and done that. Stephen Jenkins relied on 2 seniors, the previous year to help him get lined up. He just wasn't that guy, and we put a lot of that on Donnie, to really had no other choice. Donnie had to step in and be that middle linebacker early, and he was like a fish out of water. He could make checks and make adjustments. It just wasn't the right spot for him. So, I don't have to relive the 2013 season for you guys. It was constantly swimming uphill. And even though we got some pieces in the right place, the communication was never where it needed to be. And I think that was evident. We've got a different feel right now. Again, it wasn't perfect. I'm going back to Friday, the first day of practice. And even though it wasn't totally clean out there was never a time where you had guys looking left, looking right. They're snapping the ball, and we have a bunch of guys walking around out there. We got lined up, and we played fast when the ball was snapped. That doesn't mean everything was perfect in terms of the fits and the coverages, but we operated as 11 instead of 9 or 10 guys being on one page and a couple guys being on another page, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Where does Donnie Bags have to improve to be the kind of player you'll want to see?
Well, I think number one, I think we finally got him in the right spot. Not knowing the history of Donnie when I got here last year, he was a guy that played up on line of scrimmage his whole high school career. Was recruited in a different system. If you guys remember back, we had a JUCO, we had a couple freshmen coming in last year. We had Donnie. Stephen Jenkins was hurt. We had to get a guy there in the middle that knew the system and could make checks and get us lined up. And he was really the only guy that we had. Sean Ward was a guy that was there as well, but he's not even with us anymore. It kind of tells you, where we were from a depth standpoint. So we had him out of position, but we had no choice. And like I said, we were swimming uphill from point A through the rest of the season. And I think we finally got him back on the line of scrimmage. He's playing Sam linebacker. Sean Washington's a guy at that same position that's really pushing him. But Donnie just seems more comfortable, and then at times he'll split out on a number 2 receiver. Donnie's probably as athletic a linebacker as we have. I just think he's in a comfort zone now. It's a shame that it took him this long to get there. The thing that Donnie has to worry about is he's got a young guy, Sean Washington, probably as physical a guy as we have at the linebacker position that really wants to play. Donnie's got a little bit of an edge on Sean right now just because of his overall knowledge of the package, but Sean's coming up on him fast.
Is it a credit to Donnie to be able to switch and be a guy that you can count on to fill a void when you have one, even if he's not the guy that you need?
Absolutely. I said that from the day I arrived last year. That was the one thing that Donnie brought to the table was an ability to kind of control a group that had a lot of youth. It just, you know, once we started playing last year, he was a fish out of water there at the middle linebacker position. It's a credit, you know, that I think he's grinding. You know, he's in his final year. He wants to play. He wants to contribute as much as he can. And you know, it hasn't been a smooth career for him, but he's battling right now. And like I say, I expect him to have a good, solid senior season for us. I know it's important to him. A lot of guys would have packed it in already. You know, he's played every spot. And I know he'll have a chance to answer some questions for you here when I'm done. You can ask him specifically, but I like where Donnie's at right now. He's working really hard. He's leading in a positive way as a senior, and again, he wants to have some success individually as well as a team this 2014 season.
Couple more. Tommy Sanders, do you feel like he could be a guy that could contribute in the two deep, and how important would it be if he could help out spelling AJ Hilliard?
You know, Tommy is football is very important to Tommy Sanders, and just by the way he's played here these 3 days, Tommy is probably 10 to 12 pounds heavier than he was in the springtime. The thing that I sometimes forget about Tommy had a busted up shoulder going into the fall last year. He's a guy that could have elected to have surgery prior to the 2013 season, and he strapped his shoulder up every day. So he was a guy that wasn't healthy, you know, wasn't very big, really looked like a nickelback out there. So he's put on a little bit of weight. He's got his shoulder fixed. I think he's a more confident guy. Again, the thing I keep talking about in our room is we have competition. We didn't have that last year. We have competition at every spot. Another guy that allows us to compete is Justin Bass. He's a guy that gives us some flexibility to play behind Mastro at Mike if we don't feel like Reggie's pushing him enough. He can flip over to that will linebacker spot if AJ Hilliard or Tommy Sanders get a little bit too comfortable. I really like what the two freshmen have done so far. Ataro Alaka, I think, weighed in the other day at 227 pounds. And a lot of people still think he's, you know, 210, 215. He's pushing 230 now. He's very sudden out there on the football field and very smart. And then Josh Walker, we've got in the middle. Low 230s, 233 pounds right now. It's just how much can he handle? You know, is he a guy that's going to be in the mix at Mike? So a lot of pieces. As Coach Summer says, we don't have a whole lot of time to figure it out. We got to really decide here in a 10-week or a 10-day window, you know, who our two deep's going to be.